What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode review for Made in Abyss Season 2. This is episode 12, and with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
And this is the season finale of Made in Abyss.
It's the 48-minute long season finale.
I mean, I'm still a little bit disappointed that it's already ending this soon. I mean, I was hoping it would be a little bit longer, but...
Considering where they were in the story, I knew that there could only be one more episode. I mean, I guess technically there could have been two more, but it would have to be normal length, maybe two normal length episodes. Because that's pretty much what this was. It's like the length of two episodes combined.
Yeah, and of course the episode was delayed for a week. I don't know the exact reason as to why it got delayed. I don't know if
it could be production issues.
Probably due to the fact. It was like a double length episode. I thought there was 13 episodes this season. I didn't think it was going to be ending on 12 though.
How many episodes was the first season?
It was 13 episodes in the first season.
Huh.
So there's. I mean, if you count with this double length of the 12th episode, it would have been maybe 13 episodes technically by length.
Yeah.
But the episode picks up a lot after the last one with Fabata fighting off the monsters, and but it also flashes back at times when she first met robot Gabaroon. How Gabaroon taught her how to speak, and also how she even got her name in the first place, and teaching her I think the different sets of value with the. I think it's represented in different handwritings, and how an equal value and such. I don't know. I forgot the exact.
Yeah, details. Something like Haku is the highest form of value or something. But yeah, it really makes Gabaroon's death much harder considering now we just get this flashback showing when she first met Gabaroon.
Yeah, and of course we also see the flashback of when Fabata first sees Reg with Riko and Nanachi, and how she ended up taking the white whistle in the first place. Initially, she and of course the reason why she wrote put those markings on the picture with Riko and the others. It represents the different sets of value that. She was writing down, and of course Gabaroon questions why she didn't just go up and wake up Reg and talk to him, and it's obvious that she's a little bit flustered and embarrassed to even do so.
It's basically her perspective on what happened at the beginning of the arc, where she was just kind of spying on them while they were asleep. She also ended up, of course, as we know, she took the whistle. She took the whistle because I think she also sensed Prishko was inside of it at the time too. And Gabaroon tells her that there's about that the whistle or the guy that forged the whistle or
I think she had Gabaroon take it to the village because she didn't, she
can't
really
go
take it over
there.
her. So, so it eventually flashes us back into the battle with Fabata, fighting off the monsters and eventually defeating them completely. And then we see Riko, Reg, and Nanachi end up finding Wakuzan on the ground, who I guess is on the verge of
they get transported there by Majikaja, who transforms himself into some kind of a flotator. Well, he has some other form he transforms himself into. He's some new form. And
of course he gives his last words to Riko and her friends, talking about, I guess, reminiscing of the entire journey into the abyss and how far they've gone to. And I guess his last words is, wishing them luck in exploring the abyss even further before passing away. I forgot his exact words. I haven't watched the episode in a while. I have to watch it again. But yeah, that's where Wakizan's story ends.
And also, of course, we noticed that Voiko is not with him, so now they have to go and try to find where Voiko is.
Yeah, and then once we see where Voiko is, we unfortunately see her mutating into a hollow due to the curse, filtering into the village, and she pretty much like starts transforming into like in a similar grotesque form as like how Midi was.
Yeah.
But she's in the process, she starts losing a lot of blood, and the process for her transformation is incredibly painful for her. And eventually, Rico and the others, along with Fapata, end up fighting her and taking her along.
Also, one of the I forget what her name is, but one of the Hollow Children like come find her and try to like toss her down the stairs to where she's not as affected by the curse. But in turn, of course, the Hollow that threw her down ends up basically disappearing because of the curse.
Yeah, and of course, on their way back up, I think Reg and Fapata are still trying to fight off the remaining monsters. While at the same time, I think Rico once again tries to use the white whistle to power up Reg, but in the process, she ends up passing out from it. I guess I don't know if it's overused from using the whistle or if it's something else, but eventually, like it powers up Reg again to fend off the monsters. And soon afterwards, Fapata asks the remaining villagers to sacrifice themselves to her so she can gain enough power to not only destroy the monsters but to destroy the village once and for all.
Yeah, and of course Reg faces off against the turbine dragons. He thinks about using the incinerator against them, but he's of course we know if he uses that he ends up fainting like 10 minutes later. So what he ends up doing is he's using his arm to destroyed like a bridge that's in between the village and the outside, and it kind of just lets the turbine dragons like fall. And of course, the village, of course, is also about to be destroyed because of Fapata as well. And we see the monsters just getting crushed by all the debris. But yeah, like you said, Fapata is able to do this because she pretty much ate the remaining villagers because they just sacrificed themselves for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, eventually they do get away from the village, and this leads us to a pretty tragic scene with Fapata finally having a chance to talk to Voiko, who is
one thing I want to mention too is what do you think happened to Ma, because they kind of disappeared at one point.
I think it's due to the fact that with Ma being taken outside the village, because we know Hollows can't really go outside the village without dying. So I think it's possible that Ma ended up disappearing with him, being outside the village, or with the village being completely destroyed.
Yeah, it might be that. And also, another detail I remember now is I think Mugi ends up giving giving Rico some like a piece of paper. I forget what was on it. It was like it was something about some of the beasts in the abyss, I think. It was potentially like something her mother left behind. I forget exactly what it was, but yeah, she receives that from Mugi before she ends up, of course, getting consumed by Fapata.
Yeah. But yeah, so like I was saying, soon after they ended up escaping the village, Fapata does have a chance to talk to Voiko, who's of course dying from the curse. And Voiko tells Fapata about the time when she spent with her mother Irumui when she was still a human, and of course Fapata reassures Voiko that Irumui always loved her, and of course her memories of Voiko is of course is the one that's I guess like the memories of Waco was the reason why she was able to keep herself going after all this time.
Or you mean the memories of Irem?
Yeah, it was either that I think.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, of course, like, Waco like holds out long enough, I guess, just to see Fapta for one last time. And she, of course, ends up, because of the holification, she ends up eventually, of course, passing away.
Yeah.
But Fapta, of course, has the memories of Irem.
Mhm. Yeah, and soon afterwards, they end up burying of Waco, and then I guess just set up a grave site for her.
Mhm.
And soon afterwards, after they leave, Reg suggests that, offers Faba to join them along with in their adventure to explore the abyss even further. I guess Fabata, I think she does. I think she said
she. What I got from it, she says like more or less, she says like she would consider it, and that's kind of where they leave off. Like, I mean, I will say, like, I guess it's not really much of a spoiler, but Fapta in the manga does end up joining them. So I guess, like, basically, like, with where this arc ends, she's maybe she doesn't join them immediately, but I guess maybe later on she does. But yeah, because she more or less, as far as I remember, she says, like, she would maybe consider it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's where the episode ends off, and where the entire season ends off, actually. And yeah, I mean, I did enjoy it, but I'm just a little bit bummed out that how quickly this season went. Similarly, like how the first season went. I don't know how they're going to end up continuing the series, whether they're going to make another movie or they're going to make another season of this.
I guess it depends on how long the next arc in the series is. Because they made a movie out of Dawn of the Deep Soul, and that was a fairly short arc in the manga.
Yeah, I mean, overall, it is a good arc. The Golden City, I did enjoy the Golden City arc. It did have a lot of mostly tragic moments throughout the entire thing. Like,
I would say, like,
what happened in the flashbacks.
I would say so far it's probably my favorite arc in the story, just because of how brutal it is, just how emotional it is. Like, it really kind of just just has everything that Made in Abyss has kind of become known for in the arc. And I guess that's what is really so great about it. It's just like all the brutality, all the tragedy, and but I mean, at the same time, it's in weird ways, like I would say, is a little bit like, even though it's in a lot of ways tragic, it's also in somewhat uplifting, and at the end of it. But yeah, like I really enjoyed I really enjoyed the arc. It's I would definitely say it's my favorite. Probably, I guess, seconded by the movie. But yeah, I guess, like, in terms of rating, I trying to decide between 8 or a 9. I want to say it's a 9, just because I feel like it's, like I said, it's everything that's great about Made in Abyss. There could be arcs that show up later that surpass it, but so far, like, this is definitely my favorite part of the story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it too. I think I would also give this a 9, just how well the story was, and how just had a lot of emotional heartstrings throughout the entire show, including like how tragic, not just like the present day storyline, but also the flashback storyline involving Waco and Irem.
Yeah, I think that was definitely the biggest like the biggest emotional, like, just tragic thing is of course, like, Irem, like the whole thing having to do with Irem's backstory, and which is pretty much the foundation for the entire arc. It's the most tragic thing we've seen out of Made in Abyss, and that's really saying something, considering what we've seen already. But yeah, and of course, like, we should mention the soundtrack from Kevin Penkin. Like, it was it's one of the things that I think made this season really great as well. But it's also one of the best things about Made in Abyss, as the anime at least, as a whole, is the soundtrack. I mean, of course, he's also done compositions for Shield Hero, but I really feel like his stuff really stands out in Made in Abyss in particular.
Yeah, I mean, but anyway, I'm hoping we do get more from this show sometime soon. But
yeah,
whether like I mean, I can't. When was the last time they showed off the first scene? It was like what, back in. Man, I completely forgot how long
it
ago
was.
That was.
Either
It was,
like 2017, 2018, something.
Yes, it was like a 5-year long wait, and
yeah, I mean, in between that though, we had the movie, of course, but yeah, we of course had to wait a little while for season 2. I am hoping, of course, for a potential season 3. I'm not really sure how far they are in the manga, and I'm not really sure how long the next arc is. Like, it's always possible, like we said, they could do a movie for the next one if the arc is short enough. But yeah, I'm not really sure what to expect from in terms of the anime, if they're going to continue.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past them if they were to make a compilation movie of the second season.
Yeah, I mean, like what they did with the first season. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I wouldn't be surprised if they did something like that. But yeah, I don't really have too much else to say about it. It's definitely one of the best anime from this. What was it, like the spring season? I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
It was a good show. Alongside with the, I guess alongside Summertime Rendering.
Yeah,
which we were watching on third-party sites, but I technically I did have to watch this on third-party site as well because I don't really have high dive.
Yeah,
and such. But
I think I guess it's only streaming on. Well, I think it might also be streaming some other places, but yeah, I just know it's mostly just streaming on High Dive.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, it is a good season. I'm still kind of bummed out that it's already over this soon, and we won't know when they might air like the third season, whether we have to wait another few years for another season, or if they're gonna end up releasing another movie continuation like they did before. Didn't
they say like the director for Made Abyss is also working on Shield Hero season 3?
Oh yeah, it's like with the way like season 2 ended, they had to they had to do like they had to do some course correcting with the mistakes they did with season 2. So they're bringing in like the Made in Abyss director to work on season 3. Actually, they're bringing back the original director who directed season 1 to work on season 3 now. So hopefully they'll make some improvements on that. Whether if it's going to be,
I didn't even realize maybe I forgot, but I didn't even realize season 2 had a different director.
Yeah, they did. They gave out their reasons during a panel at the Crunchyroll Expo a couple of months ago, and they did. I mean, they didn't really acknowledge some mistakes they did, but they did, like, of course, make some announcements of like who's going to be working on the third season.
Yeah. So I guess like whenever, maybe sometime after Shield Hero season 3 is over, then maybe we might get some kind of an announcement in regards to a season 3 for Made in Abyss. I feel like that's what's most likely to happen with this series. But yeah, that all being said, guys, until next time, we will see you all later.